Welcome into Forte Catholic. I am so glad that you are here. Liv and I had a blast recording today's show. She went to Disney World in the middle of a pandemic, which was hilarious to me, and we had a lot of fun with that and so much more. Wherever you are watching or listening, please hit the subscribe button. We have full shows over on YouTube. If you're already watching there, just hit the bell so you can get notifications every time we put up a new show or other video that we have here on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please hit the subscribe button, leave a 5-star rating. If you're listening on Spotify, hit the follow button. It's so cool to see the show continue to grow, and we just want you to keep coming back. So without further ado, let's go into the show that most of you love, some of you like, and 2 of you hate, and they're still watching for some reason. Enjoy! Greetings and salutations. I'm Taylor Schroll. This is Forte Catholic, and that is Olivia Harrison. Welcome into the show, everybody, and welcome in Olivia. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I don't know how to respond. You said my name correctly, and that threw me off because I was waiting to be called Eugene. So this is a moment I don't know how to handle. Everything else I can.
I usually start the show by saying your name correctly, and then every other segment it's Eugene or Olivia Newton-John. But I do enjoy throwing people off. I know you don't listen to the show, but a couple of weeks ago, I started off the show in Spanish, and then I followed it up the next week with a little bit of Spanish, and now we're back to 1911 Britain. Greetings and salutations. But nice, Olivia Newton-John, which wasn't she British? We've had this conversation. I know Elton John was British.
Australia. It's a different continent, but yes, and country.
Well, it was Britain's jail, so essentially the same thing.
Right. They to get back at them, they changed their accent. They were like, "Forget y'all." So, but they didn't say y'all.
I think I've heard that Australia is the Texas of Europe.
We're but it's not in Europe, but yes. But yes, they're very similar to Texans. That's true. That is true. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Like they're just wild and amazing. And they have horses. I don't know. Guns, I guess. What do Texas people have?
Wait. Did you say horses? When I think Australia, I don't think horses. I think kangaroos. And now all I want to happen, I know that kangaroos are different animals than horses, but all I want to happen is for someone in Australia to parody like cowboys from Texas and ride a kangaroo while wearing a cowboy hat. I
think that's fantastic. Yes, I love
it. Wow. Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
Okay, well,
all right, enough on Australia.
Yeah, now I've been nice to you, and I have many questions because you did something that I literally can't believe happened. It goes against everything you've done the rest of 2020, and I'm so confused. So for people that don't know, Liv has not left her house. Had not left her house since March because, and we've talked about this part before, you're high risk for COVID because of health stuff and all those kind of things.
Diabetes, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Like, I get it. You didn't want me at your house. You didn't want me anywhere near you. You yelled at me for wearing the wrong kind of mask, and I'm going to get you sick.
Not wearing a mask. You didn't even wear one.
Yes, I did. And then a week later, you're like, I'm going to Disney World, and I have so many questions because I don't understand. One, how did you decide? Let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It's been 9 months that you've literally not left your house. You've been at your house for 9 months.
I did get a flu shot in a CVS. I did do that.
Okay. I apologize. I retract.
Other than that, I have
fake news on my part. You've literally not left your house.
True.
And, I think going to CVS to get a flu shot, that's like dipping your toe in the water. And
they wouldn't come to the car, but I bought a house and signed the documents in my car. We have everything Instacarted. Like, we do everything in the car or delivered. Yeah, we don't go anywhere, but CVS would not accommodate. So we did go one at a time, and they kicked everyone else out, and we went in, they gave us a shot. We ran out. So that was super fast.
So
but there you go.
That makes sense to me with your 9-month lockdown quarantine.
Sure.
You dip your toe in the water once and you're like, oh, the water's fine. Now I'm going to Disney World for a week, the most popular place in America. Tons of people out in the open. You're like, most people would be like, you know what? I'm just going to take a walk around my neighborhood. That's the next step. Oh, maybe I'll go to not Walmart. There's too many people there. Let's go to a gas station. There's only 6 people in there. Most people would like gradually build up, you know, because you've been stuck inside this whole time. And you're just like, nope, I'm going to Disney World. And I don't understand why you were mad at me for not wearing a mask around you.
I love that you're not able to see the different. You are hilarious because you're like the people who are like, it's the same if I eat inside my house or if I go to a restaurant or then if I'm outside in a park. Like you don't see any differences in anything. But we didn't go to Disney just to go to Disney. So we happened to be in Orlando, which is a long story and I'm sure you don't really want to hear. But we did decide that we would walk outside and we had our masks on. We had N95s, we had face shields, and we walked around outside and Disney's huge. So we were way beyond 6 feet away from people. We can control that. It's very different than you being in my garage and you're sitting right there and I'm like, could you move, Taylor? Could you put on a mask? Like, you know, like it's all about ventilation, all the different kinds of things. So we did make it work. The hotel we stayed at was outside doors. We didn't go anywhere with the lobby. We didn't go in elevators. If we did go inside,
stay outside. You need to clarify what you just said.
I just said that
are not
the hotel we said had outside doors, like the doors. Like we didn't have to like walk into like a Marriott and go in and talk to a person and go in and use an elevator. Like we were really strategic because when this became apparent that we were going to Orlando and we no longer had a choice, we tried to make it work. So we did go walk outside. Like if people go walk outside their houses and things like that. What's great about being outside is that you can move. Like we were portable. I can't make you move, but we could move out of the way from everybody. We're like dodging everybody and we've got all of our stuff on and we'll see if it worked or if it didn't work, but Disney's huge. So it's very, very different than I would say walking around my neighborhood because it's like very small, like the roads, but Disney's massive. So we made it work. We dodged all the things and we were protected the whole time outside. So that is what we did, but we didn't do what normal people do when we were at Disney. So if you were keeping up, you could have watched. And I gave lots of tips to help other people out.
I saw you walking all around Disney and Epcot, all these very public places, yet somehow you're saying that I don't see things correctly. You won't walk around your neighborhood, but you'll walk around Disney?
No, we do. We walk around the Disney. We walk around the neighborhood. But like for instance, we didn't hop into. Yes,
I've been trying to convince you to go on walks for 9 months, and you always say no.
Well, now I just have one street. I'm not actually in a neighborhood. You should know this. You've been here, but like it kind of changed.
It's perfect for COVID walking. No, like there's
just
8 houses.
Street.
Nobody's there.
I know, but then when I'm gonna go back and forth, I'm too bored.
So here's the solution, everybody. We're gonna drive to Florida and walk around the public place. That makes.
But we weren't in lines, so we didn't stand in lines. That's where it's gonna get kind of crazy, right? Because there's gonna be someone really close to you, and they have the marking 6 feet ahead, like 6 feet apart and everything, but we didn't do that. We either walked straight up to a thing because I have a special band. I have a magic band that has a disability pass. So we would go straight up and walk straight in kind of a thing. Or we just didn't do anything at all. We just like completely just walked around this massive, huge park. So that's what we did. And we weren't there very often. We were there maybe 2 hours at a time, maybe every day. Nothing close to what we normally do at Disney. But we did stay outside and we had all the protective gear and we didn't wait and we weren't inside. We did not eat anywhere, Taylor. I still have not sat down anywhere. We didn't do any of that. We had Instacart bring us mac and cheese and pizza. My kids have been eating like college kids.
How's your weight loss journey going?
Pretty okay. Like I was so scared. I was like, I came home and I was like, oh dear baby Jesus. But I am back to intermittent fasting today. So, but no, we made it work. We tried to make it work, but it was not normal. It really wasn't. And I've told people don't go if this is your one shot to Disney. Even if you're not caring about the COVID stuff, it's just not the same. And we go all the time. We were there when they shut down for COVID. So we were at the parks. But that's why, Taylor, it was different. And I did not go just to go to Disney. Jeez. We just happened to be in Orlando.
Man,
while in Rome.
All I'm hearing are excuses.
No, it's not excuses. It's not the same. I wouldn't go in a store right now. I still haven't gone to a store. I'm not going to a restaurant. I'm not going inside Mass. We're not going inside
Liv,
places.
people who have been listening to the show for a long time know that you are the most bougie person in the world. We
not
all know that you would
bougie.
rather go to Disney than go to Walmart. We all know this. But quarantine aside, that's always the case for you.
That's true, but not Mass. That kills me. Not going to Mass is really hard, but that's inside. And
Oh,
you're not
want to talk
moving.
about that now?
You're just standing there.
You
like,
want to
that's
go to Disney?
different.
You can go to Disney, but you can't go.
I can't go inside. I'm not going to go inside of Disney and stand either. That's not an option for me. I'm not going to stand there for an hour. I'm not going to sit inside for an hour. I'm not doing that. Like, if you're high risk, you can't do that. Walking outside with trees or whatever, I mean, you can do that, and you've got to dodge people. I can't stand by people. I can't do what you can do, Taylor. I'm not all young and spry as you work out every day.
That's what you can't
You're
do.
so
that
funny.
I can.
It's not the same. You're so ridiculous. Guys, there's inside buildings, and you're inside with AC, and then there's outside, and Jesus made that. So we can go outside. That's all I'm allowed to do right now.
All right. Well, I've learned from many years of being around the female kind that I'm going to get nowhere in this discussion.
He doesn't understand. It's okay. We're going to send someone like an engineer or an architect to Taylor to explain outside and inside, and then he'll learn. Or watch Sesame Street.
Here's the thing.
Remember Grover when he would do that? Near, far.
All I thought about was the whole time. Every time, like you, from being locked down for 9 months.
Weren't you happy for me? That I got outside? I could be outside with humans and walk around them? Like, I got to dodge humans.
Was I happy that you were happy? Yes. Was I happy about the way you chose to be happy? Not really.
Well, I didn't go to Disney. I went because I was a keynote speaker for the diocese.
Oh,
and
was
they
that
weren't
outside?
doing virtual.
Was that outside? No,
so they had
wasn't.
to.
You make no sense at all.
So they had to. They did the whole thing for me. Like, they went to the nth degree. They were amazing. These people were phenomenal. They did every possible thing I asked and kept me very safe. So they were very accommodating and kind. Like? I know. I wasn't used to it. I did feel bougie. I was like,
well,
I felt like a star.
The more
like,
you talk,
crazy.
the more my argument it looks like the winner. So
you're so funny. Anybody who wants to reach out, they can. I'll explain it to them in detail.
Yeah, sure. Follow your Instagram that you're locked out of. So
I am. I'm locked out.
Here's all I thought about the whole time that you were gone. I'm interested to know if your spiritual life is like this, because this is how my spiritual life. You know, like every time we look at like the Israelites in the Old Testament, we're like, oh, how did they get that wrong? Why were they dumb and wandered for 40 years? And then we're like, oh, that's me, right? You know, like so here I am. Like super, like I wasn't upset or frustrated. Like literally, I'm just laughing at like this. The whole thing just seems ridiculous to me. That you're like, I'm gonna stay inside, and then I'm gonna go to this public place.
And now I'm back inside. Like, right. I mean, yeah.
Okay, you had your chance. Now it's my turn. So, what? Like, essentially, I was looking at it and laughing because I'm like, this is crazy to me. But then I'm like, oh. What Liv did with her like physical life, like her physical self, like doing the quarantine thing for your physical health, and then going to Disney, apparently not caring about your physical health. But essentially, that's what a lot of what my spiritual life looks like. And it has for most of my life, which is why I was like, okay, I can't be too, like, I was never mad or upset or anything, but I was like, I can't be too provocative to Liv, because that choice that you made is what my spiritual life looks like. I go 9 months and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to cuss for 9 months. And for 9 months, I don't cuss. Maybe there's that one time where I went to CVS and I might have slipped up once, but I stayed strong, right? I kept going. And for 9 months, I didn't cuss. And then I went to the Disney world of cussing, right? So like I just went all out, like all of the things, and opened the floodgates. And it's like, now everything's different, and now I'm a cusser as a person. And I've done that multiple times in my life. Like, you go through a period of not sinning. Like, insert your favorite sin here. You're like, oh, you know, how do I need to fix my spiritual life? Oh, I need to get this sin out of my life. And you don't do that sin for 1 month, 8 months, 12 months. And then you do that sin one time, and then that sin is a part of your life for a long time again, right? Is this true for you, or are you a good person?
Yes.
Which
no,
one?
that is no, that's so true for me. Except my sinning takes place both outside and inside. That's the only place that this doesn't match up with your whole analogy, but I think that's actually a really great analogy. Yeah, I do that all the time. Where
I don't think you got the analogy. I wasn't
I
talking
did.
about sinning
I got
inside or outside.
I was trying to make it funny. No, I'm it's like a
Good
mudslide.
try.
It's like I'm trying to help you out because since you don't know the difference.
I
like slide down a hill. Like it's like one little thing and that's it. And it's like it's so hard. But that was the thing for my weight too for a long time, which let's argue that's a sin for me. It was, right? Like I had the sin of gluttony, obviously. You don't get to 458 pounds by having an extra peanut butter cracker. Okay. So in that sin, it would be like, oh, I'm just going to cheat when I'm at Disney, right? And then I get home and I'd be like, forget that, and like eat all the things. And then like, it's like 2 months later, I'm like, the holidays are coming soon. I'll just keep eating. Like it would just snowball and I could never get out of it again. And it really is incredible when you can get that like under control. So I think that that's great that you've done that with your sinning. I'm assuming that now you are under control, Taylor.
Not at all. Not at all. There are some sins that I have gotten under control, and there are others that it is like that. And like it's this whole thing of like, okay, I'm going to quarantine myself from my favorite sin for a month or 2 months or 3 months, and it's never like to me, like with your situation in Disney, like the thing that would make most sense to me is that the gradual getting back into something, right? Where it's in this point talking about something healthy. I want to get in shape. I'm going to start walking every day for a month, and then I'm going to start walking and jogging, and then I'm going to start jogging more, and then I'm going to start lifting weight, like just kind of gradually doing that. That's the healthy version. But the unhealthy version, like when it comes to the negative side of like sin, is like I'm going to not do anything for a long time. And then once I do it, it just opens the floodgates, right? Like that just seems unhealthy, which was your version of going to Disney.
But all or nothing, which was outside. We didn't go inside. You're driving me nuts. This is.
You can sin over there. You can sin in here. Do you sin on a boat?
We weren't by people. Taylor, you get the virus from humans. We didn't go by any humans. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It hasn't changed. We're not by any humans. But you're still invited to my house with a mask outside.
I don't think I am. I just don't think I am. Like everything that happened when I was at your house and you going to Disney will never make sense in my brain.
Poor Taylor. I'm gonna have to draw him some graphics so we can see the difference. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one though.
We can
about
share
sin.
those later. We can share those on social media after the show goes out.
That's hilarious.
All right. Well, I got things off my chest. We got absolutely nowhere with how I feel about you going to Disney. I think ultimately, I was happy for you, but the thing that I felt the most was I was worried for you because it's like, you haven't built up immunity or anything. Like you've literally been in like a sterile environment for 9 months. And then you're like, I'm going to go to a dirty place. So I really was worried for you. And I'm glad you're okay. And because you're okay, I felt like it was okay to come on here and poke fun at you.
We'll see. I have the 14-day countdown, and we did get our vitamins through IV, and we got an IV last night. So that is how we try to build up our immune system.
So to finish the analogy
of the bouginess,
get your sacraments, everyone. That's the IV for your spiritual life to help not binge sin like the rest of us. That's our first segment, and it was all about Olivia. Second, from here on out, it's going to be all about me. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. If you're enjoying this show, and if you're not, I don't know why you're still here, then the Forte Catholic Podcast Network has another show that you will love. And it involves Liv, who is a co-host on today's show. Liv has her brand new podcast that just made a return called Talk to Me with Liv Harrison. It's so much fun. I get to produce it, and she does a great job hosting. Every time she's interviewing on a show here with me, I think I'm just in the way. So she gets to interview long-form interviews with some great people just about how they overcame some tough things, how they became successful. It's been a lot of fun to work with her on that show. So Talk to Me with Liv Harrison, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go listen, go subscribe, and that's it. Enjoy it. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I'm Taylor Schroll. That is Olivia Newton-John. And in the last segment, we talked all about her, and she made no sense. So now we're just going to talk about me and hope that I can make sense. So, Olivia, I had a very interesting week And actually, if we're being honest, an interesting couple of weeks, because it's actually been almost 2 weeks since I've recorded the last Forte Catholic, because we kind of batched some recordings. I tried to, record with you, but you were like, "Oh, I'm going to Disney and not telling Taylor, and the time we have to record is when I'm at Disney World." Whatever, And then you were like, "Oh, it's a hurricane." We didn't even get into the fact that you went to Florida during a hurricane. We can't get into it because we're not talking about you anymore. But you're an utterly ridiculous human being. But I had some ups and downs over the last week and a half. I had some big wins. I had some big losses. But we're going to talk about the win first. So regular listeners of the show know that I have been an athletics coach for quite some time. So I started off as the junior high track coach 6 years ago, did that for 1 year, moved up with those 8th graders and became their head track coach, and was their coach all 5 years, 8th grade all the way through high school. So when our school has been around for 125 years, Catholic school here in Bryan.
Your school has been around 125 years?
125 years, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What year is that? I don't even know what year. Is that the 1800s? I have no idea.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Because
Yes.
minus 120 from right now would be 1900. So 1895. I just did some quick math for you. I should know it because it says established 1895 all over the place. And I didn't picture that in my mind until I did the math. That was dumb. But
that's impressive. Wow.
So I don't know how long we've had athletics. That's one thing that I've asked around. We don't know. We don't know how long we've had a football team. We don't know how long we've had a track team. We don't know how long we've had a baseball team. It wasn't the whole 125 years. But our school is notoriously not known for, especially certain sports. I think we've won the basketball district championship once. We had never won a track district championship. We had never won I think baseball was new a few years ago. We had never won a football district championship, in the whole history of the school. I know it's not 125 years, but it's a long time. It's long enough that no one remembers when it started. You know what I mean? It was a while ago.
So if you're an athlete, this is not the school you want to go to get scouted.
It didn't used to be. It didn't used to be. And then I showed up.
Enter Taylor. I love it.
So we're going to talk about healthy pride and unhealthy pride here in this segment. That's the point that we're getting to. But 4 years ago, those 8th grade kids that when they were freshmen, I had, and then the class above them was the greatest track class the school has ever seen. So those kids, we went from never winning district in school history ever to we haven't lost yet. In the time that I've been coaching. So we won 3 years in a row, back to back to back. We didn't win last year, but we also didn't lose. The only way for me to not win the district championship is for it to not happen because of COVID-19, apparently. It just didn't happen.
So we don't know. We don't know what you would have done. We're going to assume you would have won, but yeah.
We're hoping that this spring we will win again. And we're going to, the first year we put first time district champions. The next year it was back-to-back district champions. Next year was back-to-back-to-back. So on the next year's shirt, we're going to go back-to-back-to-back to COVID-to-back championships.
That's funny. That's really funny.
So,
perfect.
Track was the last sport that we hadn't won district, or the second to last sport we hadn't won district in, and we won that one 4 years ago, right?
And you were the coach.
Yes.
I just wanted to say it because I'm just proud of you.
So I'm the head coach for basketball, for track, and for football. Those who've been listening the last couple of months, is usually I can't coach football because a lot of it happens on the weekends. And usually I'm traveling to speak and lead worship for church events. But all that's been canceled. So they asked for my help. And these guys, it's mostly the same guys that I've coached for years. I've been the campus minister. I've been a small group leader. I'm their confirmation sponsor, all the things. I'm just in their life. I'm like their older brother. So they were like, "Can you help coach football?" And I was like, "Sure, absolutely." And we've notoriously not been very good at football. But we've got a very special group of seniors. The head coach has been here for years now. He was the first 6-man head coach because we started 6-man 3 or 4 years ago, which is a lot of fun. I didn't know a ton about it. Lots of offense. But I've been essentially tweeting out on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. "Hey, we won this week. Hey, we won this week." And it's become a theme to where now I'll tweet it out and people it's really cool. There are 5 or 6 priests that are like, "Hey, way to go. You did it." And other ones that are like, "Did the other team show up? Because we won 60-0 at a halftime."
You
And
keep just retweeting the same tweet. They're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Taylor,
What's
you
going
need
on?
to change your wording.
So like that's what we've done. Like we won 60-0. We won 54-0. We won 57-0.
Oh wow! Like
And
like
yeah,
you're like crushing it. Not just winning,
the
you're
first
crushing
game,
it.
the first game of the season, we played our rival who is a division above us. Like they're a bigger school, so they're a division above us. We played them, and it literally came down to the last play. We won on the last play of the game. Like so
Wow.
stressful, fourth quarter. And so here I am thinking that's how the whole season's gonna go. We haven't played a whole game since then, because if you're up by 45 points at halftime or any time after halftime, the game's over. We
It's
haven't
like a
played
mercy
a full game.
rule.
Mercy rule. So we've either
Oh
ended the
wow.
game at halftime or in the third quarter every game since, like in our district, in our division. So this past Friday, for the first time in 125 years, we won our district championship.
What does that even mean? Like, do you get to go to state? Do you like get a trophy? Like, Taylor, that's huge.
Here's the thing. Our starting quarterback, his dad and brother own this business that makes signs. Like, it's called Fast Signs. They make, big banners and signs and promotional posters, and also like we use them for ministry stuff all the time. He had the banner made before we even played this team, because one, he was very confident in us.
It's like the World Series. This is amazing.
And two, I mean, why not? I guess he's like, it costs me cost. Like I'm not, like whatever.
It's vinyl, sure,
right.
yeah.
And I guess if it didn't work out and we lost, he could just give it to his son for Christmas as a reminder of his failures. But whatever. So we got the banner. I'm sure we'll get some kind of plaque or whatever. The playoffs will start in 2 weeks. What's really cool about winning the district championship is that our seniors had what we thought was our last home game 3 weeks ago. Last home game ever, like really emotional for our seniors. Like they've been playing on this field for 4 years. Last time they played at home. We have earned ourselves a home playoff game.
So they're so excited. Like they're like, that is such a big deal, especially with such a crummy year. Like how
Right.
awesome for these kids. That's amazing.
We're having so much fun. Like it's been one of those things, like the only places I go are the gym and to football practice and to our games. And like they just go to school and to the games because they're super locked in. Like they don't want to get COVID and not be able to play because playoffs, especially because it's playoff time. What's kind of interesting is the team that we're playing in 2 weeks is a team that we've already beaten by halftime. So they have to drive 2.5 hours to come to what they already know is going to happen. So that's sad for them, but whatever.
So how many games are left? Like how many playoff games? And then is there a championship? Like what is it?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's a pretty typical playoff, so that we have a bye week. So like there are other teams, like lower seeded teams, that have to play this week. We don't have to. We're going to play another team next week. And then I think it's 4 games total. I think it's like our bye district. And then I just got a text message. That's annoying. We play bye district and then like semi-regionals and then regionals or bye district, regionals, semifinals, and then finals. So we have to win 4 more games to win state, which obviously has never happened because we've never gotten.
I just got goosebumps. I am so excited. This is incredible.
We have like a legitimate shot to win. Like we're not gonna they're not gonna win the state championship by 50-0, but like we have a legitimate shot to win state,
amazing.
which is wild. So like
wow,
we're currently ranked number 4 in the state by like the people who do the rankings. 3 of the other teams are in their same district and they've all beaten each other. So it's like, why are we number 4? Like we're undefeated. Whatever. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it. And it's one of those things that like we were joking after the game because the boys know the whole like lore of the track championships and stuff. Like even the kids that don't run, like know like this is something new. Like something new has happened, and like the track program went from 4 kids to 8 kids to 12 kids to 16 kids to 18 kids because everybody wants to be a part of something that's winning, right? Like that's
that makes
fun.
sense. Yeah.
So they know that. And they were like, well, there were 2 sports left that didn't have district championships in school history. It was track and it was football. So they were like, you did it. I'm like, not really. Like, I'm an assistant coach. Like, it's not as big of a deal for football. It's really exciting. But, like, the players and the head coach get most of the credit. Obviously, I get some, but not all of it. I'm just kidding.
We'll give it all to you. We don't mind.
So it was just interesting because they're like, here I am, like, I have this healthy pride for our kids, like for our program, for our coaches, for our players, like for the other coaches, for junior high, like everybody that's been involved. There's a healthy pride, right? And there's also like this, like that can be a little unhealthy pride, like I did this.
This is because of me.
Which
You're
obviously
welcome.
I didn't. Like, I mean, like if people could see, like, I think our players, I think, are starting to get it. But like, if people could see what the head coach does, like how much time he puts in and like how brilliant he is when it comes to calling plays and designing everything, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He gets a ton of credit. But it was funny because as I'm starting to feel some of this unhealthy pride, right? And I don't know. And I think you and I are pretty similar. We talked about it before. Where like we can feel prideful in 1 second and like the worst person ever 10 seconds later, right? Like
back to that all or nothing that we both really, really love.
We oscillate back and forth every 10 seconds, which is why it's strange to be around us.
It's true.
You know how like they always say about great people, like, oh, they, I talked to Liv and she made me feel like the most important person in the room. And it's like, well, what's really true is I felt the most important than the least important, and the most important than the least important.
It's like a ping pong. Yeah,
right,
totally.
Exactly. It's a fun game that we played with my emotions. But right as I'm feeling some of this unhealthy pride, I did the little slip of the wrong word that I did earlier. I mentioned basketball earlier. It's because I came up with the slip as we were talking. I was like, there were two things that we hadn't won district in: track and football. But then I remembered basketball. And I said, okay, if I'm going to have any pride at all as the assistant coach for football, I'll have all the pride I want about track because I'm the head coach and they didn't do anything before I got there. I can have some pride about that. Whether healthy or not, I'm going to have it because it's just how it is. But when it comes to like being an assistant coach, it's like, how much pride can I feel about this? Because I feel like that's where it goes from healthy to unhealthy. A little bit of pride is healthy. Too much is unhealthy. And I'm talking to one of the kids and he's like, you did it. You did track. You did football. Like, we have a district championship and everything now. They were like, and I was like, oh, I've actually never lost a district championship because track, I'm undefeated other than COVID. Football, this was my first one and we won. So I'm undefeated. And then I go, oh no. 4 years ago, Liv, I was an assistant coach. So same situation I'm in now for football. I was an assistant coach for our basketball team. Our tallest person was your height.
5'4"? Are you kidding?
I'm being a little facetious, but it's not far off. It's much closer to you than it is to me.
Yeah. Same school, yeah. And you were the assistant coach for basketball. Kids.
Bunch of white kids playing basketball. So what do you think our record was? We played about 30 games. What do you think our record was, Liv?
I'm going to say you did not win a game.
We won 4 games. I think we were like 4-25 or 4-26 or something.
Yeah.
Very not good. So the moment that I'm feeling this unhealthy pride,
right,
it comes crashing back to me. This memory that I have repressed because it was very depressing. That I was heavily involved in a team that went 4-24 or something. So I feel like, and there goes the oscillation again. There's a little bit of healthy pride, a little bit of unhealthy pride. But if you mix in the humiliation with the unhealthy pride, it's pretty good pride at the end of the day.
It evens out. Wait, did you even play basketball? Because I know you were a track guy. Did you play basketball growing up?
Basketball was my first love, and it was my best sport for a long time.
Never mind. I was going to be like, you didn't even play basketball. You don't even like basketball.
No,
Never mind.
You know nothing about me.
I know nothing. I was trying to help.
I scored 42 points in a basketball game once.
Well, then there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. Well, the excuse is I didn't get to play.
You weren't playing. That's the excuse. You're taller than your players.
I couldn't coach them to be 6'2", 225 pounds like I was.
You have natural talent. You don't know what that's like. You're like, listen, it's not my fault you guys don't have natural talent. Yeah, well, you don't know how to do that.
I made the same, I ironically enough, because I went to a big public school, I made the same realization that they had to make, that I was too short and too white to go on in basketball. So I decided to go over to track where I could work hard.
You had a chance. That's hilarious.
So,
well, congratulations. I think it's incredible.
Thank you. I think obviously the winning and being with those kids when they win is the most fun part. The second most fun part is how many priests from across the country are involved in this now. Like, I will tweet out like, hey, we have a game tonight. We're going for the district championship. And I'll have 5 or 6 priests on Twitter from across the nation being like, hey, good luck. We're praying for you. And then I'll tweet it out 3 hours later when we win at halftime. And they're like, congratulations. That's so awesome. So we have all these priests just like on our bandwagon. And I love it. It's so much fun. I'm like, hey, look,
That's really cool.
maybe
You're
that's
like,
why we're winning.
maybe it is. Like, instead of being like America's team, you're like the Catholic team, you know?
Right.
Like, you're the one that everybody's cheering for.
Let's be real. We are America's team at this point.
You are. You're
If
America's
you are
team.
following us on social media at Taylor Stroll on Instagram or Twitter, join our bandwagon as we continue into begin our journey into the playoffs.
You're going to crush it. I believe.
I believe that we will win. Okay. Well, that's gonna close up our segment because that was all very positive. Whenever we come back, we're gonna talk about the losses that I had this week. Oof! Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Not only do we have full-length shows on YouTube, but we have all kinds of other things. Like we told you before, we did the one chip challenge, hilarious, best prayer Father Anthony's ever prayed. But then we also did something else here recently. A lot of you guys don't know that I sing. It still surprises me because I feel like I'm saying a lot of you don't know I sing all the time. But we just posted a new YouTube video of me singing for our very own Jonathan Bearded Blevins, the show that he hosts called Super Squares. I sang for the halftime show. It was so much fun. Gave me something a little different to do. That is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Forte Catholic. Head on over, watch the video, hit the subscribe button. We are over a third of the way there on our subscribers and views, just to be able to become affiliates over on YouTube. So it would help us out, even if you never watch. Just go over to youtube.com/Forte Catholic, hit subscribe. It'll take 4 seconds and really help me out and boost my ego just a little bit. Thanks. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I'm Taylor Stroll. That is Olivia Eugene Harrison. And so if you've missed any part of this show, we recapped Liv's week where she, a COVID high-risk person, went to Disney World. And then we recapped my week, the good parts of my week, where I won a district championship as an assistant coach for our local Catholic football team. Hooray!
Woo!
There were also a lot of big losses this week. And the first one involves parenting. You're a parent, but you're a mom, and I am a dad. And that makes us very different.
It's like outside and inside. Yes, I understand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Again, with the Sesame Street. So,
Exactly.
So I think it's pretty typical. I think the most typical household, the mom is a lot more involved with the kids than the dad is. I think that's a pretty general assumption. And I think it has definitely changed a lot and morphed a lot over the last 30 years for the better. You know, dads are getting more involved. But at the same time, like, it's still very apparent to me that my kids are way more dependent on my wife than they are for me, because they learned a long time ago they can't really depend on me all that much.
It's like my kids, but the opposite. But yes, I totally agree with you. I think that's fair.
Woof. Y'all are one of the exceptions, I guess.
We are. We absolutely are.
The only exception.
I have no idea where anybody's shoes are. So yes, continue.
So what's cool is, like, I've been working at home ever since March, and now I work at home, like, for good. Like, I work for Forte Catholic. Welcome. And so I spend a lot of time when my two oldest are at school. I spend a lot of time, like, with my baby daughter, like, just me and her. Like, we have a ton of time together, and a lot of time, like, my wife is here, but she gets a lot of time to rest, like, when all kids aren't here, because when they're doing homework and stuff, like, I don't know first grade math. I'm not going to help. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. You know, I'm tired by the time they get home, I'm done too. Like, they're done with school. I'm done with my work day. Let's all just chill. And they're like, no, please parent us. And I'm like, go ask your mother. So, but I get a lot of time with the baby, who is your favorite. We all know this.
I'm so obsessed with her. She's the cutest. I love her.
But there's not a lot of times where I am alone with all 3 kids, like, for an extended amount of time. Like, you know, there will be some times where, like, you know, a quick trip to the grocery store. Like, I mean, it happens, but it's not all that often. And I think this will prove it, because my wife my wife, she went to mass. She wanted to go to mass. We both started to periodically begin going back to mass, like in a church, here recently. And so a lot of times we're taking turns because we don't want to bring the kids, and that has nothing to do with COVID. We just don't want them there because they're distracted. so we leave them at home with the other parent, and then we, flip flop. And so last Saturday night, my wife goes to mass on the Saturday evening vigil mass. So like during dinner time. So what she does is she cooks all the chicken. She lays out the tortillas and the cheese for quesadillas. And she's just like, hey, can you just finish making the quesadillas? I have to go. And I'm like, absolutely. Let me finish my video game first, obviously. And then, so I finish my game. I tell the kids, dinner will be ready in 10 minutes. So I finish my game. I go over there and I start making the quesadillas. So which is the easiest thing in the world to make, especially when the chicken's already cooked. Literally put a tortilla down, put a bunch of cheese, plop the chicken, put the other tortilla down, flip it after a few minutes, and it's done.
It's a grilled cheese. It's a Mexican grilled cheese.
Right.
Yeah, this is not that hard. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now I have to try something. I don't think it'll be as good though. Like a grilled cheese with white people bread, but with grilled chicken on it sounds nasty.
Why though? Why would that be nasty? It's the same concept. You understand we all eat the same food. No, it's just in different ways.
The difference between the bread to chicken ratio would be off, I think.
Try it. I don't know. Try it out.
I'm not going to.
Is that called like a chicken melt or something? Like I'm sure there's like a name.
I'd have the chicken as a patty, but not cut up like it is for quesadillas. I don't know why that's the case. It makes as much sense as you going to Disney World, but I'm going to stick with it. So here's the quote. Are you ready for this? This is what my 5-year-old, Magdalene Marie, who was my favorite child for a while, and now the baby's taken that spot for now. Just briefly, we'll see what happens. But I'm making the quesadilla, and she walks over, and the baby follows her, and Chris is right behind her. Chris is the 7-year-old, Maggie's 5, and the baby's 3. The 5-year-old looks at me and says, I didn't know daddies could make dinner. I thought they just played games and watched TV.
Did you die?
I was dying laughing. And then my son, who's 7 years old, who will always come to my defense, said, oh, and work for Forte Catholic. So he knows that I work.
Baby.
My son knows that I work. My 5-year-old is very she's not confused, actually. I was going to say she's confused, but she's mostly right.
She nailed it.
She really did.
She absolutely nailed it. See, I had a dad who cooked all the time, so I married someone that doesn't cook, so it still throws me off. I'm like, what are you doing? Although he doesn't play video games. But that is hilarious. I love that Maggie called you out. So what did Sam say? I want to know what your wife said. I want to know her response.
She just laughed and thought it was funny. Like she thinks the whole thing, just the whole situation is funny because she knows what she was there.
She's met you. Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. I laughed. I wanted to be mad, but I couldn't.
Oh, that's funny.
Because
that's
one,
funny.
She was right, and two, she's so stinking cute that I couldn't be mad. But
then so cute.
I tweeted it out, and I was laughing about it. My wife saw it after mass, and we were all just laughing about it. And then I realized, when it's my turn to cook, guess what we eat, Liv?
Quesadillas.
In this case, in that one case, yes. But when my wife is tired and needs a break and needs someone else to take care of dinner,
yeah,
those are the times we go out to eat.
You do? You don't cook at all? You won't no.
Very rarely. I'm
very
just
rarely.
It's one of those things I could do it, but why do it when I could pay somebody else to do it?
See, that's how I feel about everything.
I know. Except I'm buying $25 dinners and you're going to Disney World. So
I got him to Taco Bell. That's why.
She's mad at me. And I'm like, if you want to complain about how I feed you, we're not going to go out to eat anymore. How's that, small child? She doesn't realize that she could talk smack all she wants, but it might come back to bite her.
Yeah, we don't believe in karma, but yes, that's exactly what.
Sure we do.
I think we do. I believe in it.
We don't believe in karma because the church says we can't believe in karma. But What is karma? People getting what they deserve? We absolutely believe in that. It might not happen as fast as we want.
True.
It absolutely happens. Have you heard of hell? Okay. So
it might not be on the planet, but we believe that it will happen.
So, yeah, exactly. So speaking of daddies playing video games, that's not a sentence I thought I was going to say today. Boy.
Yeah, that was.
So you and I talked about this a while ago when I was at your house and you made me sit 1,000 feet away from you because you have a huge house and you're scared of me.
Oh, stop.
So the new video game systems came out this past week on not October, November 12th and November 14th. The new Xbox and the new PlayStation came out. And this isn't a story about video games. So if you're not a fan of video games, don't worry. All you need to know is
listening.
that daddies just watch TV and play video games and don't cook their kids dinner. That's all you really need to know. But a month ago, they did pre-orders, okay? And they were like, hey, you can sign into the internet at this time. I think I talked about this on the air, but just a brief recap. Sign in at this time, and you'll be able to purchase one, and you'll get it on the day of. The internet crashed, like all Walmart, Best Buy, Target, Amazon, everything crashed. They were all sold out. Literally, I was waiting like at the minute. At 11 o'clock a.m. I was there at 11 o'clock a.m. The internet was crashed until 11:15. I got in at 11:16. They're like, sold out, sorry. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll just wait until launch day. Launch day comes around. Oh, we're not letting anybody in stores because of COVID. Okay, fine. Like whatever. Biggest video game launch in 7 years, but whatever. We don't want people clamoring. I'm like, there's 1,000 people inside Walmart at all times. What's 8 more? But whatever. Not that's not my problem. They're like, okay, hey, you can order them online and set them for like pickup at Walmart. That way they can schedule them. You show up at 10, you show up at 10:30, you show up at 11, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So I go to order online. And I'm going into this day knowing that it's going to be like it's a long shot for me to get one. That's how I went into the pre-order day. That's how I went into launch day. It's going to be a long shot. But I didn't have much to do. It was last Tuesday morning. Okay, fine. I can do my work later. I'm just going to drive around town. And I know they said they're not going to let people buy them, but I'm just going to try. Why not? It was fine. I'm trying to order online. I'm going to ask them. Like I asked the clerk or whatever, what's the deal? Like, what do I need to do to get one of these? And they're like, you have to order online. I said, well, ordering online isn't an option. Oh, wait, we can't even get there yet. I haven't gone to the store yet. I'm in the parking lot trying to order it online. And again, it happens at the time. And at 11 o'clock in the morning, Liv, this is literally all I do. You've shopped online. It's literally how you live your life.
Basically.
Live your life. So live your life. That should be your theme song.
Thanks.
So, hey. So I go to Xbox Series X, add to cart, purchase. All my information is saved. My name, my address, my card information, everything is saved in there. I hit purchase, and they're like, sold out, sorry. So literally in the time it took me to push my phone 4 times, add to cart, confirm information, purchase 3 times. It's sold out in 3 clicks of my phone. I'm like, okay, that's annoying. It was like literally in my cart. Like I feel like once it's in my cart, other people
count.
It should count for something. Not because if you think about the physical equivalent, I'm in Walmart.
Yeah.
And I'm pushing a cart and I put the Xbox in my cart and somebody's like, no, I was here first, and grabs it from my cart. 1, that would be ridiculous. 2, it wouldn't happen because I'm a very large person and nobody would mess with that. So
you're a Viking.
Hoorah. So then they're like, okay, it didn't happen. We'll have a few more later. Now here's the thing. And this is where Jesus got in my way. You ready for this?
Yeah, now I am.
Jesus enters the story, and I already told you this is not a happy story.
Yeah, I'm so nervous.
So they're like, hey, at 2 o'clock, we're going to open up some more online. At 2 o'clock, I'm in the middle of a radio interview for a Catholic radio station. So the whole interview is going. We're 30 minutes in. I've got it pulled up on my phone. I had it ready to go. Literally all I have to do at 2 o'clock, hit refresh, add to cart, hit purchase. I'll be done. I'll literally not pay attention to this thing for 3 seconds. Right?
Seconds.
But here's what didn't happen. I had it in my cart, which I did earlier. I hit purchase. It asks me this time for my CVC number, whatever the number on the back of the card is. And I'm not going to give you my real numbers, but it was something to the effect of 112, and I put 122 instead.
Like you flipped it. Oh, no.
I flipped it because I'm still focused on the radio. I'm not completely checked out. I'm literally this took 10 seconds on my phone.
Oh my gosh.
And I literally just, had a little dyslexic moment, whatever, switched the numbers, added the wrong numbers. It goes through. I literally had it in my cart. The purchase goes through, and I immediately on my phone, because I use the Apple Card, it says purchase declined for this amount of money. I hit refresh, try to do it again, and of course, sold out.
I love that you're laughing. So you still don't have it?
I still don't have it, and I probably won't for many weeks.
When's the next opportunity?
They say Black Friday, but you know what's going to happen on Black Friday?
Oh my god!
I'm going to log in the time. I'm going to log in on the time that they say to. I'm going to have it in my cart. I'm going to hit purchase, and it's going to be sold
horrible.
out. Like it's all that's going on. So like, I'm laughing, and it's one of those things that like
you've got to be devastated.
The part of me that was devastated, and remember earlier how we talked about how you don't do a sin for a long time, and then something happens, and then it's just a whirlwind.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. and here's why. I learned this about myself through this whole experience. I went in knowing it was a long shot. I went in saying, I'm going to go try to get one. If I don't get one, it's going to be fine. And I truly believe that. And I truly believe that would have been the case if I didn't have it in my cart twice and try to purchase it. One, that was not my fault. One, that was kind of my fault. I mean, like I played a part in it, right? And I think getting so close to something that was a long shot made it utterly frustrating. Frustrating. There was another time I went 2 days later. I like literally like every couple hours. I have Walmart.com, the Series X. It's literally on my phone all the time. I hit refresh just to see if there happens to be another one there, because I went into the store and they said, just keep hitting refresh. Whenever we get a new shipment, we'll add some. Here's the thing that drove me crazy. And this was kind of the last straw for me. When it said on the website, you can't purchase online, but we currently have 6 in stock at this store. So I drive to the store immediately, literally. I'm in the middle of work stuff and I'm like, whatever. And I leave and I go over there and I'm like, it says you'll have 6 in stock. Can I get it?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. Those are fulfilling online sales. And I'm like, then one, why does it say that they're in stock? 2, they're like, so you need to order online. I'm like, I literally can't order online. It's not an option. It says that they're sold out online, but that they have them in person. I'm like, you're like, guys, just try to order online. I can't order online. I just told you that. You have them here. Can I give you lots of money, please? They're like, no. Try online. I'm like, I can't. So we just go through this whole conversation over. It got nowhere, just like our conversation in the first segment about you going to Disney. It got absolutely nowhere, and I wasn't happy at the end. Same thing. So it was frustrating, and I think it's like in the moment, like it was super ridiculous, and it's like it was one of the things that like incompetence just gets me. Like. Why can't a digital store have it like once it's in your cart, it's in your cart? Why were you telling me there are some in stock when they're not in stock? It's like like toying with my emotions is fun. If it's just out of stock, I get it. It's COVID. They're hard to make. It's a lot. Fine, whatever. But like being like, oh, here it is, and dangling it out and then ripping it away right when I have it was frustrating. So I think I learned through all this that I'm not good at patience, but I'm getting better, because like ultimately, after the like initial like rah! Wears off, I go back to like, I knew going in that it was going to be a long shot. It was a long shot. I didn't get it. Fine. You've
grown. Like that is like, since I've known you, I don't think you would have done that a year ago. I think you would be pouting. But you did go in with the right mindset. You knew that you weren't going to get it. I love that are you just looking at Walmart, by the way? Is that the only place that you're looking all the places?
No, but Walmart seems to be, they just seem to be kind of the leader in having the most. But like literally I have like on the launch day, on all the times that I just talked about, I have tabs opened up. Amazon, everywhere. Walmart, Target, everywhere. GameStop, Newegg, like literally places no one's ever heard of.
Are you trying to get both? Taylor, are you trying to get both units?
I flip-flopped a couple times. I'm just trying to get the new Xbox. So essentially, that's the whole reason we talked about this is
you've grown.
Just the whole patience thing. The second is you have a lot of money and influence, and I kind of feel like they'll sell you one before they sell me one. Just go in there and like flaunt that you have a ton of money and try to get me an Xbox, please.
I actually have
will-
no money. I have nothing. I don't
will pay
make
you
a
full price
salary.
for it. I'm not asking you to buy me the Xbox. I'm just asking
You know, I
to
would.
access
That's
to the
something
Xbox.
you see, that's what you're doing. You're like,
No.
if
I
Liv
will
could, she
legitimately
would.
pay for it, but I want you to go to your fans wherever rich people
got
shop
nothing.
that I don't know about. That's where I want you to go.
Taylor is ridiculous.
I will pay you plus tax, everything.
Well, as soon as I make a salary, you got it. I'll let you know. I don't make anything.
You seem to be forgetting your husband, which is what my kids did with the man in their family. Forgot I existed and that I could do things. So
there you go.
That's our show today. I'm going to spend the rest of the week not cooking for my kids, but I might take them out to eat a couple times. What's your plan for the rest of the week?
For the rest of I'm quarantining. I'm going back to my cave. No, I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving. I'm excited. I'm going to cook all the things. So I'm really pumped just for us.
The final lesson of the show is if you, just like from the beginning, if you don't sin for a long time and then you sin again, go back to the quarantine of sin and never do it ever again. I'll be back next week. Love you guys. Say it.
So we had a new addition to the Forte Catholic family this week, and no, it wasn't another Schroll baby. It was this camera that you are watching on right now. We were able to do it just for the commercials. We're still integrating the camera into the family, but we were able to get this and just to improve the quality of all of our YouTube videos, our social media, everything. And all of this is because of our generous donors over at fortecatholic.com/donate. If you want to continue to help the show become better, hopefully it'll make me better somehow. That's what we're trying to do at least. And even if you don't want to support the ministry, help feed my kids. ForteCatholic.com/donate. 501c3. We are a nonprofit organization, and we live off of your donations. So thank you guys so much. God bless. See you next week. Peace.